Thanks for checking out my video today. I'm David John, and this is eBay It's Selling Advice for new and intermediate sellers, brought to you by YourInternetIncomeAdvisor.com. When you're selling on eBay, there are 3 things that you must do to be successful. These aren't the only 3 things you should do, but these are 3 things you must do. First, you want to research what you're selling before you sell it. Next, you want to put thought and time into the presentation or auction that you're going to be putting live on eBay. Thirdly, you want to make sure you keep up with your emails. Now, let's take a look at each one of these items individually. Research what you're selling. There are several questions you want to ask yourself and answer when you're trying to selling an item on eBay. First off, you want to research to find out if there is competition. There are several things you consider when you're researching for competition. First off, if there's no competition for what you're selling, that could indicate that there is not a market for what you're selling. But it could also indicate that it's a market that has been untapped, and if you start selling in that market, you could dominate that market. On the other side of no competition, there could be too much competition in which you will not be able to sell successfully and be able to make the kind of money you want to make on eBay. If the particular item you're trying to sell is not on eBay, you want to see if there are similar items to what you're selling on eBay, and that way you can determine if there is a market for what you're selling by looking at similar items that are being sold. You want to determine if there are any related items being sold, items that are related to what you want to sell. 2 reasons you want to do that. First off, if there are related items being sold to what you want to sell, those are items you might want to consider selling yourself, or items you might want to consider packaging with the item that you want to sell to increase the perceived value of your auction, thus getting you more money for each sale you make. Finally, you want to determine how much the items are selling for that are similar to or the same as the item that you're selling. This way you can determine if you can actually make any money while selling that item on eBay. Secondly, you want to consider what you're selling. And this is in terms of creating the presentation that you're going to be putting together. You want to list what condition the item is in, if it's a used item or if it's a new item. If it's used, or even if it's new, you want to use an image because an image speaks 1,000 words. You could write the best description in the world and then add an image to it, makes it a great description. That way people can actually see what they're buying and not have to rely on their imaginations. You want to definitely describe any wear and tear or damage to an item if it's a used item. That way the buyer knows exactly what they're getting into when they purchase the item from you and there's no surprises. When you're writing your description, honesty is the best policy. You want to be honest when you're writing a description, especially when you're selling a used item, because that way the buyer, when they receive the item, is not surprised with any wear and tear or damage that the item may have. Finally, you want to make sure you're keeping up with your emails. Every email that you receive is an opportunity to build a solid relationship with a customer. If this customer ends up buying from you on eBay, because of the positive experience they've had with you, they may buy again off of you from eBay, or you might be able to turn them into a customer off of eBay, which means you won't have to be paying those ridiculous eBay fees. When answering questions, just like when describing the item, you want to answer the question as honestly as possible. You don't want to lie or try to deceive the potential customer. If you do, that could affect your feedback rating negatively. Great communications is a key to being a good eBay seller. Being a good eBay seller means you're going to have a good positive feedback. The more positive feedback you get, the more customers are going to come to you because you are a trusted eBay seller. I just want to take the time to thank you for watching. I'm David John from YourInternetIncomeAdvisor.com. I encourage you to check out my website and my blog. You can find a link to my blog on my website, YourInternetIncomeAdvisor.com. Happy selling!